Hi there, my name is Fidel Santiago, and today I'm going to be doing a presentation on Homeland security issue that I feel needs to be addressed. The problem that I want to address currently that has arisen, in my opinion, is whether or not hotels are safe enough and or well trained enough to handle a terroristic attack or to be, in or outside the surrounding area of the hotel. Why is this a concern or a problem? Um, the first thing that comes to mind is that the hotels are soft targets. A soft target is a target that has low security and is an easy target to be used to cause chaos. These are schools, churches, um, places that, again, have low amount of security, as opposed to harder targets to attack as security, or I'm sorry, police installations or military stations. And as we've seen in the recent October 2nd attack on the Mandalay Hotel, uh, it's a growing concern that people can use hotels to cause chaos. Again, this was a man named Stephen Paddock who, from his hotel room, was able to fire upon people that were in a festival that was happening, across the street, and almost more than 50 people lost their lives, and many more were injured um, due to the situation. Um, if security does not become tighter, or if the issue of security is not touched upon in hotel rooms or in hotels in general, um, something like this can happen again, maybe even worse. Um, what does our scientific literature say about the problem? As mentioned before, it is a soft target, and because it's a soft target, it makes it a much easier way to cause chaos in these kinds of locations. The book mentions that they are prime targets because terrorists often are able to inflict large numbers of casualties, invoke panic and other psychological consequences, and adversely affect the community and possibly country's economy. So, just from reading that alone, this is a big issue that not only deals with people's lives, like civilians that go in and out of hotels for business, pleasure, or whatever they use it for, but this can cripple a community within the hotel community or an economy for a country who depends on tourism for their way of life. Um, Also, hotels are a constant flow, of people and things coming in and out of the hotels. So, and not only that, but they have little to no security. Again, just solidifying that idea that they offer a very easy way to attack them. Most hotel bombings have occurred in luxury hotels. The two biggest ones being the Hilton or the Marriott. Often these hotels are visited by government officials, dignitaries, international um, guests, and military leaders, which is why they're such a prime way or a prime target if you want to get rid of people like this. In November of 2008, it was reported that Pakistani terrorists targeted a hotel in Mumbai, India, along with other little hotels around the area, where 173 deaths were confirmed and 308 people were injured. That's a large number for something that we don't usually think about as hotels being bombed and or attacked. Same happened on February 2009 in Kabul, where the Taliban resulted in 20, where the Taliban attacked a hotel, resulting in 20 fatalities. the proposition that I have in order to solve these issues is basically for hotels to, especially bigger hotel chains, much more luxurious hotel chains, is to hire private security as their security force. According to private security, in the book, with huge losses sustained from employee theft and the growing frequency of guest room theft and attacks on guests, increase, increasing numbers of hotel and motel operators are turning to private security to reduce their loss. So already hotels are kind of looking more into the private sector to to basically give a peace of mind and or security to their hotels. But I think that this is something that they can improve a little bit more. By hiring private security company, the hotel can hold the security team accountable for any sort of incident that happens, as opposed to their own security division in a hotel. Also, this could help the hotel by having the actual hotel staff, focus more on customer service aspect than worrying about security in a hotel. My other proposition would be for hotels, especially again these bigger hotels, these Las Vegas hotels, these luxurious hotels like the Hilton, the Marriott, is for them to probably have a different way of allowing people to come in and out of the hotel so freely. Having maybe when guests come into the hotel, sort of like a little check-in area, kind of TSA style, where you would have people have their bag, the hand baggage that they have scanned through a machine, and they go through a metal detector, and then once they go to their front counter, that they drop off their bigger luggage with the front counter, and that they would have a separate room to screen those bags as well through better X-ray machines, kind of like they do in a cruise line. Now, some of the criticisms that would come from this. Well, the biggest one, and it's probably the most looming one, or the most obvious one, would be the fact of cost, money, and that's what it boils down to. The higher brass are sometimes more concerned about the bottom line than they do about other issues. As an example, in our previous class I was able to take with Dr. Orr, cruise port and maritime securities, we learned that cruise line heads they hire these non-Americans because they know that they can hire them for less than minimum wage. They're cheaper labor, and the crew is much more expendable, or basically easier to fire than if they were American citizens with American rights and an American mindset. These foreigners, they work at these cruise lines, but they don't. They're kind of at the mercy of these hotels. I'm sorry, of these cruise lines, and it's all to save money, basically. Uh, this drives the point that CEOs and companies would rather view these procedures that I'm advising, that they would be a waste of money, maybe, because not a lot of people think of hotels as targets of terrorism and or attacks. Another criticism would be that a lot of these hotels, they would be afraid that they would lose that image of and have an inconvenience imposed on their guests. Having their private security and metal detectors, and this would be something that could take away from the luxurious look of the hotel, and again the ambiance that they're trying to have when people go to vacation or to relax or to honeymoons and stuff like that. They probably wouldn't want this TSA feel that they just got through in their previous flight or in their recent flight to the hotel. So that could be something that a lot of hotels may not be keen to having. My rejoinder, though, is that because of the incident that happened in Las Vegas, I could just imagine that more and more people will try to imitate and or flat out just copy what Mr. Paddock did in the using the hotel as a means to cause chaos, to lay waste to civilian lives. Uh, so we definitely need to look into that, and prevent those types of things from happening. Also, I would rebuttal and say that a lot of frequent people who use hotels, businessmen, people who use the hotels a lot, would like, I think, this ease of mind or this added security, in lieu especially of what happened recently. Um, and it doesn't necessarily have to be an inconvenience, because what we can do, what can happen is you can have a TSA pre-checkout type program where if you know that there's going to be businessmen that are constantly using your hotel, or if you know people who use your hotels a lot and you deem them as safe people and do background checks on them, they can have special um, cards or key cards or passcodes to come in and out of the hotel, or maybe bypass the security screening that's there because they have been checked, or maybe their screening is not as intensive like TSA screening. Um, Also, the idea of checking in bags in front of the hotel just adds that sense of security. If you know that your bag is being checked by these multi-million-dollar equipment that just is easily able to detect, things like anthrax or a bomb or a firearm, I think that again gives you an added bonus of, or an added feeling of safety. But not only that, but it can actually add customer service value to the hotel room, because you drop off your bag, and then when you get to the room or when you come back to your hotel room, your bag's already there waiting for you. You don't have to lug them up to your room yourself. So it can be kind of looked upon as a customer service thing as well. The book writes that the long-term suffer from poor security can place a business in severe financial jeopardy. Meaning that, yeah, right now there's not a problem, but if there's a prolonged sense of not being on top of these issues that are arising, when the issue does arise, there's gonna be more money to pay than establishing better security for your hotel hotel. In conclusion, we live in a time where terrorists are going to try anything and everything in their power to cause chaos. That's just what they do. That's what they live for. When you close the doors in one area for a terrorist not to attack, they're just going to find another way around it. You impose restrict gun laws, or have more restrictions on guns, they'll use a truck like they did in Nice, France. Um, you barricade a square block for a party or for a festival like they probably did in Las Vegas, where cars can't come in and out as easily. You're going to use a hotel room to do what you have to do. And you're just going to find ways to circumvent the impositions or restrictions that we try to do to prevent terrorists from heading out their attack. They're going to find ways to do bad. It's up to us as professionals going into law enforcement and criminal justice and homeland security to be one step ahead of these people to keep our civilians safe. Now I want to end with this quote from Emmett Burke, saying that the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. So don't do nothing. Let's do something about it. I thank you for your time, for listening to my report. Thank you, and have a great day.